Hello, everybody. Well, I hope everybody's doing well this Tuesday evening. Well, my guest is joining us from the United States of America, so it's morning there. So let's put our hands together and invite Aparna Shevakramani. She needs no introduction, as I have said before. And this seems to be inviting the wrong Aparna here. Yeah, I have got the Aparna. So she was in Indian matchmaking, and I just found her very positive and somebody who knew her mind. And also her Instagram handle is extremely motivating. And so Aparna should be with us any minute now. So just waiting for her to be here with us. And so I think we've got Aparna. So Aparna has joined. Okay, so first, and we're waiting to get connected to her.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm very well. So we meet for the second time in this lockdown. So how have these past 7 months been for you?
They've been very, very busy. I'm still struggling a lot with balance, but I'm doing better nowadays. I've, started new practices like meditation or taking them up again. I'm being outside more, but I also took a break from my law job. So I think that really helped.
You took a break, as in you have quit your job and you'll go back later, or are you planning to change streams?
So it's called a sabbatical. You can go back, just never go back. I don't know.
That takes a lot of guts, because I think everybody's now evaluating where they want to be, what they want to do. I myself, sometimes feel I need to just retire and do things for myself, but there's something keeps holding me back. So was it just like a spur of the moment decision, or did you think about it? How did you come to this conclusion? I'm sure there are many like you who also are thinking, do they want to be where they are?
Yeah, it was a very difficult decision. And in fact, it took me until very recently. So the show came out in July. It's been almost 4 months. And I tried to do it all for all of that time. And I was doing all the press engagements. I was loving talking to the viewers. I was planning my first book. And I was working for full time as a lawyer. And it wasn't possible. I kept thinking, oh, next week it will slow down. Oh, next will slow down, and it never slowed down, and I just got so depleted. And I think that's when you have to listen to yourself, and that's when I would tell others to consider the same. When you just feel like tired all the time, depleted, like you're not coping, if you're overwhelmed all the time. I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. Wrong. It was not sustainable. I personally need a lot more sleep than that. Some people don't. Some people, are actually with that. And so for me, I had to make a decision for my health and for my wellness. And I wanted to spend time with my family. I was always, ditching them for dinner or never sitting down just to chat. I hadn't watched a TV show in months, and I thought, this is crazy. Like, I just want to unwind every night and read a book, or, and all those things were put to the side. So I finally had to decide in my life what I had to cut out. And for me, for now, that was my job.
I've been getting that a lot from a lot of people who've actually told me, you're burning out. Maybe you want to step back and read. I don't have the guts to do it. I think, and meditation is something I'm not able to do. I don't know why. I think I've got this boulder in my head that says, you can't do it. You can't do it.
I think everybody has that for meditation. It is very difficult. But I did a 10-day course at Vipassana many years ago, and that really helped because I had never been able to meditate. And then I thought, well, let me try 10 days. And it worked. I learning like that and being immersed. That was very that's what taught me how to meditate. It taught me to still my mind. And then take the lessons I learned at the Vipassana camp and then bring it back home. So even now, years later, when I was ready to start again, I knew certain practices and teachings, and I understood what the body does, because I already experienced it before. And so I think that was very important for me. I'm glad I gave myself that gift so many years ago. I think it was 5 years ago. And I'm glad that I could bring it back now when I needed it the most.
Awesome. Well, tips here. We'll start meditating from tomorrow.
Yes.
It's never too late. My tomorrows never come, but I will make an effort to do that. But it's amazing. It's the wedding season in in India
Mm.
as of now because, winters. And it's amazing. Like, I've been reading in the papers and journals and magazines that a whole lot of couples are breaking up. I'm not trying to put a jinx onto, but the content that I'm seeing on OTT is only about matchmaking. So you had Indian matchmaking, you had Suitable Boy, now you have a show called Mismatch. They're all talking about marriage being the ultimate destination for women. Now there's also a Pakistani show, Jhuti Love Story. At the end of it, it's a marriage. Do you also feel that we've conditioned our women to think like that, our girls to think like that, that marriage is your ultimate, destination?
I think more than that, we've conditioned communities and parents to think like that because they want stability for their children, and often the children that they worry about the most are their daughters. And so what we're doing is, I'm not sure it's the women who are conditioned. I think oftentimes it is the communities, and I think it's out of a bad, feeling or intent. I think it's because there's a biological need for an adult couple to see their children settled before they go. And it's just that simple. And I think in the Indian culture, we are very family oriented. So that need and that obligation of parents is very strong. Whereas in America, you leave the house typically when you're 18 or 21, and your parents say, go live your own life, like to a white American. And that doesn't exist in our South Asian community, not here in America, not in India. And so that's what makes it feel sometimes that we are very focused on marriage, but what we're very focused on is bringing stability to the next generation. Whether that's
I
right.
I agree with you. Another thing, I don't know whether it happens in the States, but a lot of single girls in the Indian workplace are sometimes judged for being single. Like, why do you need a fee? You don't have, why do you need a raise? You don't have fees to pay. Or when are you going to get married? When will you have kids? You're 29, you're still not married. I mean, then people who are beyond 29 should just like hang themselves, that you missed the bus. And also a lot of young girls, like I had someone ask me, she said, I don't want to get married, but do you think I'm going to be judged for this? And I have noticed it, but I just hope people's perceptions change. Does that happen in the States as well? You're judged if you're single?
No, not as much. I mean, it does. Of course, it always does because there is that age of 30 that's so relevant. But here, I think in my circle, it's more acceptable to understand that the person is on a different timeline. And I think that's something we're all learning as a society too, right? We don't say to someone, "Oh, you're 35. Why isn't your career all settled?" Or, "Oh, you're 35. Why don't you own a house yet? You should own a house yet." We don't put those milestones on people for other things. We just put it on marriage. And as we become more relaxed about, in general, milestones and how unimportant they are and how we all ones, like your career might be the best it's ever been in your 30s or your 40s. Someone else might be the best it's ever been in their 20s. And then, they'll never do anything that great again. And that's okay. So why don't we say the same thing for marriage? Why don't we say, you found your husband at 19 and that was good for you. And if I find it at 33, that's good for me. I think that these are things we're working on as a community societies, and I'm proud to see people making progress. I really am.
I hope it happens here because, as I did mention it to you the last time, I had a colleague who tells me she's addressing an editorial meeting. She's way junior in experience and age, telling young juniors, oh, look at her, 23 years in the business and didn't even get married. I mean, how does my professional and personal life matter to you? Somewhere else, she would have been sued or taken to HR, but here, it's commonplace because you discuss marriage. Even in editorial meetings, you'll discuss husband and you'll discuss kids. So I think we have a long way to go here then, because everyone seems to be conditioned that way.
Yeah, and then if comments like that are made, then that's very surprising to me. It is also, like you said, not their business. And I think it's also our place to say to people, to gently say to people, hey, that's not your business. That's
I
not
know, I
your
said that to her later. I didn't address it then. I was like, how does it matter what I am? I could be monogamous, polygamous, gay, single, whatever. It's none
Yeah.
of your business in the professional place. But it's just because they're
Mhm.
so busy putting their husbands and their kids and their whatever, how their, the kids' report card and the syrupy message sent by their husband on social media. I just feel they seek social media validation for their status.
Maybe. And that's entirely possible. And what I always tell people is make sure you're always still working on your relationships. That's something I, in my 30s, have learned, that me getting married is actually going to be a task, you know, that I have to put work into and that I want to put work into, and that it doesn't just, I don't just get married and then live happily ever after. I have to communicate and engage and you know, be a good partner for that person, and they have to be a good partner for me. And I think that's why we use the word partner now, husband or wife, because partners are there for each other. They stand beside each other. They're teammates. They're on the same team. Whereas in traditional societies, a husband has all of these, you know, roles, and a woman, a wife, has all these roles. But in partnerships, you do everything equally. And I think that's a beautiful thing of what I'm looking for right now, and many people my age are looking for. They're looking for partners.
Absolutely. True, I agree. So somebody's asked you a question here. What do you think about the beauty standards that we tend to impose on women? Because it's just so scary. With all, I had no idea that little kids, they showed it in the Social Dilemma, get so influenced by these filters that they want their face done like that. I was
Mm.
just very shocked. So
Yeah,
what's your take on that?
I was very shocked too. I think that's very sad, but I think it's been happening, especially to young women, for very long before filters came out. You know, I remember being 10 years old and all I wanted was a lip gloss that came in a pot with a little brush, you know, because in the video, Alicia Silverstone in Clueless is, you know, applying her makeup that way. I was 10. That's crazy that we are telling or showing women or allowing women to kind of have that. You know, I wasn't asking for a book or a STEM toy or anything. I was asking for a lipstick in a pot. And I think that's something that we work on, about encouraging young women, especially when they're that young. Hey, yeah, sure, maybe you want the lipstick for, you know, fun reasons, but have you also considered wanting a project or a game that teaches you about science or technology or any of those things? And as we raise these young women, we should keep that more in mind, because it wasn't kept in mind before. And then we grew up with standards of beauty that were unrealistic because they were pushed on us at a very young age.
Cool. I was very surprised once when I read an article in People magazine. Suri Cruz was all of 7 and she was shopping at Sephora for her shade of red. I was like, child, you're 7 and your shade of red. I still don't know what my shade of red is.
Same. That's really, really shocking. And I'm kind of sad about that. At 7, you should be worrying about who you're going to climb or who you're going to play with after school, or if you want a new soccer ball, you know.
True. So personally, what would you like to tell young girls out there? And this is something, things women should do before they get married, that you think is important for women to do before they decide to take that plunge and, you know.
First, recognize, like I said, that it is hard work and that everything isn't fixed or band-aided up in your life just because you found a partner. That's not how it goes, unfortunately. That would be very nice if it was. And second, to always, you know, really evaluate before you go into it what you want for yourself as a life partner. I've taken many years to think about that, and I've made my list and I've thought about why. And the person that I'm looking for is the person only for me. I don't know if any other woman would have the same list of qualities that I would have. And that's because I've thought about it very seriously, about who I am and what I need from my partner, what I come home to at the end of a long day, what will complement me. So it's not another clone of me. It's not like looking in the mirror and finding the, you know, male version of me. It's about somebody that's going to be a good partner for me. And I would tell a lot of women to take that time. And as long as it takes you, I don't know if I knew the answer at 29 when everyone said I should really get married. I think I found out a year later or 2 years later when I really did some soul searching. That was very important to me. And I'm still on that journey. I think that, you know, it's going to really help me when I am with the right person, because I'm continuing to do the work.
Somebody's asked, please shed some light on how we can tackle the stereotypical behavior in the Indian society. Now, you're an Indian living abroad. I'm sure you've seen it in the community, but here it's very different because we deal with something totally different. But at the end of it, it's somehow similar because we come from the same,
Yeah.
you know, that's how we are conditioned.
I think what's interesting is that's what I've seen Indian Matchmaking do as a show. It's brought these conversations to light that are making a lot of people talk. And I think talking about it is the way that we move forward from it, so that we're slowly shifting the majority. One day when 51% of people believe that you shouldn't be looking for matches based on skin color or the lightness of your skin, then I believe that we've made progress, because that's the majority. And then the majority gets louder and louder, right? Right now, our majority is loud with be fair, slim, and trim. I hope that as we speak more and as people realize more, people are more vocal, that we will realize that slim, trim, and fair isn't that important. You know, being a good person, finding somebody that suits you is more important. And I think that these conversations on this large scale, on this internet scale about the South Asian community in India and outside of India is very important for that. So keep talking. If you want advice on how to fix this, keep talking. Keep making it unacceptable in the workplace or at home to say these to women and men who are looking for their matches or just evaluating their own beauty.
True. I agree with you on that. And also, I've seen that no longer are matrimonial ads in the country slim, wanted slim, fair, convent educated girls. But these days, I've been seeing something else included. She should not be a feminist. I saw 3 matrimonial ads which said she should not be a feminist. And I was just a little appalled because somewhere they don't understand the meaning of feminism. They think it's burn your bras and, all men are bad. It's not that. Feminism is about gender equality. That's exactly what you were discussing.
Yeah, it is. Feminism is about even men. Like, so on the show, Shaker says, I am a feminist. And that was a really powerful moment. And I'm glad it was included on the show because men are feminists as much as women are feminists. And if they're not, then they should be. Because it's the men who should cheerlead and support the women who reach roadblocks. And Shaker says, when I was little, my mom and dad never said to my sister or to me, hey, play with a doll or you play with a truck. They said, play with whatever toy you want. And I think he makes a good point that it starts in the home. And if it's not in the home, then it starts in the conversations that we have in our peer groups. And so there's always hope. And it's more the hope that a man will be a feminist. I want to see a matrimonial ad where it says, like Shaker's bio data said, I am a feminist. And we need more of that. And that was a really good example to see on the show. And it should be something that we all strive.
I hope so too. And anyways, America had a lot to celebrate with. Now, a woman president will not be something unimaginable anymore. So I just thought more power.
Yeah, Kamala Harris as our vice president is a very big deal, especially because she's Tamil, she's got Tamil roots, and that's really special to all of us to see someone from our descent to be in the White House. So Diwali will be very there next year when they're celebrating.
Well, it has been a very empowering moment too, because maybe 100 years ago, she wouldn't have even been allowed to vote. So, I'm just glad how the wheels are turning, for the better.
Quite quickly, in fact, if you think about it, like you said, even one generation ago, her mother couldn't have imagined this. And so what can we then imagine for our future daughters or our daughters that right now are like in their teens or who are 5 years old? There's so much possibility for them, and the possibilities are endless and growing because of the way our minds are changing and our mindsets are changing. And that's really powerful. That's incredible to see.
A lot of love coming for you from everybody here. You seem to be a favorite on Indian Matchmaking. As I had also told you, you were my favorite. I think because it was just you were yourself. There were no pretenses. It might have irked Seema Taparia, but I think you scored points for the rest of us.
Well, I feel like that's the way to unapologetically always live your life and say like, hey, this is who I am. But it's who I am because I'm working on it, right? I always say that work component is very important. On the show, I say, I don't care if men reject me because I like me. And I think that's something that we should all work on, self-worth and where it comes from and how important that is for men and women to say, hey, I like me. And why do I like me? Well, I like me because I'm a good employer, a good daughter today. Was I a good friend today? Did I do something for my wellness today? Did I spend time outside under the sky today? If I can, at the end of the day, say all of these things, then I like. And if we could all do that, and if we all liked ourselves, and if we all had self-worth, then so many of our problems would go away. Cyberbullying or talking down to someone or being derogatory. If we all liked ourselves, then we would never get into this situation. So I say that's what we should all be working towards.
Absolutely. Somebody's asked you, what's your next project now? Since you're on a sabbatical, she's been meditating, she travels a lot. So what's your next project?
Well, I took time off to write my book. I really want to have it finished in the next 2 to 3 months, and that is a big undertaking. I have never written a book before, and I wanted to focus on it. It's such a special opportunity to tell my own story, and I wanted to be on the shelves as soon as possible because everyone's waiting for it. And so I'm going to enjoy the next week or two and then get writing and write all the way through, the Christmas season, January, and then hopefully we'll be done soon. We will get to read it.
Awesome. And you spoke about self-love. We are extremely critical about ourselves. Yes. Women are by guilt. They're overtly critical, they don't like themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How does one get that? Because everyone keeps telling you also, oh, you're too hard on yourself, love yourself a little more. And I wonder, how do I love myself a little more?
Mm-hmm. I heard a good tip once, and it actually really works for me. If your best friend was telling you the things that you're telling yourself, how would you respond to your best friend? So if inside you're saying like, oh, I don't like the way I look, or I'm not smart enough to be in this job, if your best friend said that to you, what would you say to her or him? You would say, no, that's not true. You are generous, you are kind, you're bright, you're intelligent. If we're so easily can say to our best friend, why don't we say the same thing to ourselves? And so sometimes when I'm being critical of myself, I say, what would my best friend even say to me? If my, best friend was standing in front of me and I was telling her all these things that I'm telling myself, what would she say back to me? And then I tell myself that.
Awesome, which is very, very true. Somebody's asked you, what advice would you want to give to girls who aspire, to achieve their dreams and are ambitious? What is that one word of advice you would want to give?
Say yes, step out on faith, and say yes to all the opportunities that come your way, because you never know where they'll lead you. They're all stepping stones to you know getting to the place of what you're aspiring towards. And it's never too small of a step, and each step every day is getting you closer and closer. And I remind myself that when I think that's really important to remember. So say yes and have faith that it's taking you in the right direction.
Awesome. So now it's, well, Diwali is around the corner. So what is it like at your home? What are the preps like? I know this time nobody's celebrating the way it is, but what is it usually like?
Usually it's really fun. The week leading up to Diwali, we see family, we see friends, we decorate the home. First we clean the home, then we decorate the home. We make all of our favorite foods, or I'm dreaming of mithai. It's the one time of year I'll eat all the mithai if I want, which is not much because after a few bites I'm pretty much done. But I think it's just a fun time to celebrate the culture. In the U.S. sometimes, we don't get to focus so much on what being South Asian means. And this is the kind of time of year where we can stop and say, hey, this is such a big holiday for us. This is the best time of the year. Let's all do this together. And the community usually out, we have Diwali parties even in our neighborhoods, and it's a beautiful time. I think as Diwali becomes more known, even other cultures are celebrating it or taking the time to wish us, and that's special.
True. And, the other day was just after, it was announced that Kamala Harris would be the vice president, so somebody had said, now I wish that dosa would be served at the White House.
It will be. I'm sure it will be. And that will be very special. And all of her favorites will be served at the White House.
So what's your favorite meal, your guilty pleasure when it comes to an Indian dish you cannot say no to?
I love all the chats. I love the snacks and the chats. Like I love day puri. I love, bale puri. I love everything that says puri behind it, because we don't get that here. It's not accessible as much, and so it's a treat every time we have it. And I don't know, I enjoy it. I enjoy Sindhi curry and salmani and all the Sindhi foods. I'm very Sindhi, and I love my food. Grew up coming to Bombay and eating it in my nanny's house, and so we all have the same recipes. And so it's special when someone in the family goes and grabs our nanny's recipes and makes them all for us. So I like home cooked food sometimes.
Awesome. So I mean, and also, do you also have, since you said you love to travel, have you done anything? Where do you want to go now? Because I think there were some pictures of you had gone for you had taken a little break.
Yeah, I've taken in the past two months or so. So I've been to Chicago and New York and Tennessee and then to Utah. So I've traveled domestically. I've explored the country. I think that's what a lot of people are doing now. I see people in India are going down to Goa now, and or going to Pune or to the hills. And I think that there's so much beauty in all of our own countries, and we can explore them during this time safely. Then that's an opportunity to still travel and see new things. I really enjoyed my trip to Utah. It's this beautiful western part of the America that most of the time we don't take the time to go see. And it was really special. I went with friends, and it felt like a real holiday. Maybe last year time I would have laughed at the idea, but this year I was very grateful to be out and about and enjoying and hiking and beautiful sunsets. And it's a special part of our country, and it was a great opportunity.
Also, it's amazing how people are actually exploring where they live instead of taking a flight and visiting, another country. But which is that one place on your bucket list that you just have to visit but haven't been able to?
I think it's Bolivia. I still haven't been to the Salt Flats. I mean, isn't that crazy? And now everybody wants to go, and I'm like, but wait, don't go until I go. I said it first. So there's actually Utah. The trip I went to recently had their own salt flats, and I heard Gujarat has their own salt flats. And so
Oh,
we,
yes.
we can all go to our own salt flats for now, and then meet in Bolivia when it's safe.
And yeah, I would be game to it. Somebody's just asked, would you want to be part of Indian matchmaking too?
I'd be open to it. I'm still looking for love, so isn't that what the show is about? If I was obviously happy with someone, I wouldn't say yes. But yeah, like I said, if it's Indian matchmaking, or if it's the grocery store, if it's through a friend, or if it's through an auntie, I don't care how I meet the right person, and I'm going to try every opportunity that comes my way. That's why at first I applied to the show, because I thought, oh, it's a new opportunity to potentially find my partner. And so if I'm still single, and if there is a season 2, which I don't know if there is, announced it, then yeah, I'd be open to hearing more about that and what that would look like, and whether or not I could meet some great matches.
Well, let's hope for the best. And hoping to meet you in person someday, maybe
Yeah,
when you launch your book and do the Indian leg of the book
that'd be
launch.
amazing.
We will
Yes.
be able to meet.
Where are
Thank
you?
you so much. I'm in Delhi, so who knows?
Yes, of course. I come to Delhi, so we'll see
Oh,
each other.
yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you so much for, talking to us. Happy Diwali. Be safe and take care.
Happy Diwali to you. Nice to see
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Bye.